Planet Dolan.
From prank calls about suicide to spraying coworkers with a fire extinguisher, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from Reddit about the times a joke went terribly wrong. I'm Pringle the One, and today I'll be your narrator. This story was submitted by Questionable Potato 42. When he was a kid, Helbin and his friends made prank phone calls all the time. It was before cell phones became common, so most people had a landline. One night, he dialed a random number and a nice lady picked up on the other end. As soon as he heard the lady's greeting, he started to sob uncontrollably, saying how he couldn't do it anymore because everything was so hard. The lady tried to comfort him, hysterically asking him what was going on. Once she started to engage, Helbin internally freaked out and realized he had to commit, as it would be terrible to say something like psych. So he went on and about having credit card debt, being alone, and just needing to talk to someone or he was going to end it all. The lady began to shout to her husband, who immediately got on the phone as well. They both tried to talk to Helbin down from his completely fabricated suicidal threats. The lady and her husband asked him his name and address, plus anything else to try and prevent it. Then, the lady told Helbin that her son had committed suicide and how devastated his family would be if he did it. However, he didn't listen and continued to make up every excuse to end it all. Once the conversation turned into a hodgepodge of three voices trying to make sense of the situation, Helbin said,
"I'm sorry, I can't. Goodbye."
As he hung up the phone, he heard the lady sob uncontrollably, screaming from her husband to help somehow. When it was all done, Helbin just looked at his friend who, like him, were absolutely horrified. Since then, he never made another prank call. Suicide's not a joke. Watch out, everybody. This story was submitted by Lame Nugget. One day after school, Spinal Palm and his friend went up to their algebra teacher for some extra help. One of his friends was texting his mom when the teacher called him out on it. Spinal Palm and the rest of his friends started to laugh when the teacher got a notification on their phone. Spinal Palm said to the teacher, "Hey, maybe it's your mom." They started laughing again until they noticed that the teacher didn't laugh that time. With a straight face, she said, "My mom is dead." It was a very awkward moment for Spinal Palm. This story was submitted by Nivla Calvin. Nixiam and a friend of his were coming back from a concert one night. His friend told him that he smelled like straight doo-doo butter butt cheeks after having been sweating from a lot of dancing. As a witty 16-year-old, Nixiam replied, "Your mom didn't think so." He instantly regretted saying that because his friend's face immediately turned pearl white. In that moment, Nixiam forgot that his friend's mom had hung herself in the family garage a month and a half before. His friend was the one who found her. The concert was his first night out since the incident. This story was submitted by Angel Fox 1. Back in high school, Lost Fox dared his friend to light a fart on fire. So they went behind the bleachers during a basketball game. After undoing his pants, his friend bent over and lit his fart. However, the butane lighter ended up lighting his friend's butt and ball hair on fire. They immediately ran to get some help. Several weeks later, his friend returned to school and never lived what he did down. Even the teachers would sniff at him and say, "Something's burning, is it you?" This story was submitted by Leah Williams. Sid and some of his friends were looking at some high school pictures when a girl next to him began to complain that her shorts looked too tight. Without thinking, Sid said,
"Yeah, your legs look like popped sausages."
Later that day, she texted him to say that those comments hurt her feelings and made her cut herself. He immediately called her to apologize for what he said and promised her that it would never happen again. To this day, Sid still feels bad about it. This story was submitted by Fight-Me-B-TCH. That's how I'm gonna say that one. In 8th grade, Ramona was diagnosed with epilepsy and spiraled into a deep depression because of it. One day, while sitting in music class, one of her classmates made a joke by saying, "Imagine if I had a seizure while playing the piano." Her classmates went on to play the piano while pretending to have a seizure. While her classmates was doing that, Ramona snuck to the back of the classroom and silently cried. God damn, poor Ramona. This story was submitted by Nayade in Drama. Melissa had just gotten home from work when she found her housemates and their friends in the kitchen looking very downtrodden. One of her housemates had previously gone through a court case at the time for a serious car accident that he had caused, and as a result, had his license suspended. Her housemates and friends had just returned home from a road trip, so Melissa assumed that he had been busted for driving with a suspended license. So she said,
"Are you guys okay? You look like someone died."
It turned out that one of their friends had committed suicide while on the road trip. She felt horrible after finding out what had happened. This story was submitted by GCM6664. Over the course of a few weeks, Soup and a few of his co-workers thought it would be funny to sneak up on people and spray their asses with a fire extinguisher. There were several rounds of attack as well as retaliatory attacks which continued until every fire extinguisher in the building was empty. A few months later, the fire department stopped by for an inspection and found that all of their fire extinguishers were empty. As a result, the company was heavily fined for not having any usable extinguishers. Many questions were asked about how it happened, but nobody answered. Well guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Take care everybody. Peace.